Welcome to our podcast, Coffee and the 6Fs, brought to you by CrossFit Camrose. We are a health and wellness podcast that wants to change the perspective away from only treating individual aspects of the human and expecting them to live healthy and fulfilled lives as a byproduct. We aim to do this by inviting experts in the categories of the 6Fs: fitness, family, freedom, future, finances, and faith. We also believe that one of the most impactful things a person can do for someone is to share their own personal stories in the effort to help others. So, we'll also do that for you. I'm your host, Matthew Chenard, and I look forward to sharing this time with you. Enjoy. Welcome to today's podcast, featuring Karl Stollery, professional hockey player in the Swedish Hockey League. We dive into some topics like how a young athlete can still pursue an elite level of their sport without losing their character, or sacrificing their character rather, or getting rid of the values that they stand for. We also chat about how to live a purpose-driven life and how not to tie your identity to what you do, but rather who you are. We look forward to sharing this time with you. Chat to you soon. Karl, welcome to our podcast. I just started recording, so we're good to go. This is our second podcast. Our first one was with Jaleesa, and you heard her fantastic story. Karl is a professional hockey player. He plays with Frölunda in the KHL. Nope. See, this is what happened. We did a bunch of show notes, and I said it to Karl. He's like, Matt, I don't play for Jokert anymore in the KHL. I was like, oh, yeah. So there you go. He's won bronze medal with Team Canada. He's played in the NHL for a while. He grew up in Armina, which is a very small village. You call it a village, right?
Hamlet. Get it right, Matt. Come on.
Hamlet. I don't even know what Hamlet is, so that's fine. It's by Edmonton, Alberta. Most of you, if you're listening from different countries, you probably don't know where that is, so that's okay. But those are the things that you've done, Karl. Those are your accomplishments. That's kind of your career, your job. But if you pulled all those away, how would you explain yourself? Who is Karl?
Yeah, getting to the good questions
right away,
right off the bat here. Yeah, I guess you said it. I'm just kind of a simple farm kid from out in the country, growing up near Armina. It was just pretty standard upbringing for a rural family, but that's kind of just who I still am, I like to think, even though I've been able to travel a lot and play hockey at a high level. I think hopefully I've been able to stay grounded and not worry about all the exterior things that have happened in life, but I think so. I owe that to my upbringing there in the Camrose area. But yeah, it's just who I am as a person that really matters, and it's not all the accomplishments that I've been blessed with, but I think just the important values that have been instilled with me. Not that I live a perfect life; it's far from that. But yeah, I think that's what matters most in life, is those values.
Yep, I agree. Keeping planted in those values is key. So you have a little piece of home as you travel the world and play hockey in different places. Karl, so we always ask, we've always done this. This is our second episode, but we like to ask our guests what they're drinking. So what are you drinking today? What's your hot beverage?
Yeah, well, it's in the evening here in Sweden, so I am not having coffee right now. I went with a loose leaf peppermint tea.
Loose leaf peppermint tea.
Yeah, no caffeine. There's a good tea store here in Gothenburg, so I like tea, and decided to go with a nice smooth peppermint tonight.
Awesome. So if it was morning there, what would you drink?
Definitely coffee, as probably wouldn't be allowed on this podcast if I didn't drink coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the first prerequisite.
Yeah, so that's my go-to when I get up in the morning. I've been getting some good locally roasted beans here.
Oh, nice.
In Gothenburg, so make a little aero press in the morning before I go to the rink, and gets my day going.
There you go. So why do you like drinking coffee? Not to stay on this coffee topic too long. What do you like? The taste, the experience, the surroundings, atmosphere?
Yeah, everything about it is great. The funny thing is, I don't think I drank coffee until I was about 25. I held off. I thought it was bad for you. And then I decided to give it a try and just love the taste. And I feel like it's a good thing for performance as well. I know pretty much all the hockey guys drink a bunch of coffee before games to heighten the senses a bit.
Yeah.
So, and then I think it's a great social thing too with friends or family around a good cup of coffee. That's one thing about Sweden that's cool. They have the fika, they call it, which is just usually coffee and a treat, and just about that social aspect.
Well, bring it back home when you come. I like the sounds of fika.
Yeah, it's good.
Because you're kind of a experimental biohacker too, right? You like that kind of stuff. Seeing what you can eat and what you can.
Yeah, I guess some people could accuse me of that. I think I've relaxed a little bit in some ways with that, but if there's any way I can find a little edge within the rules, I think why not explore those options too?
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Well, not to stay on the coffee topic too long, I'm sure everyone wants to hear about your journey in sports. So you've played a high level hockey and you've proven your abilities in the professional side of it. What sports did you play growing up? How did you end up in the position you're in now?
Yeah, it was all winter. It was basically just hockey. I think just a lot of skating on the outdoor ponds, and we had a backdoor rink in our yard on the garden too that we flooded every year. So I spent a lot of time out there. But as far as other sports in the summer, I never played summer hockey. It was always baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Out in Armenia, we had teams back then, so I always played baseball in the summer, and golf has always been a big passion of mine too in the summer. So I try to get out as much as I can too, and then just I guess random summer sports here and there, the beach volleyball or spike ball,
Oh,
or
yeah.
yeah, we're gonna get some good games going again this summer. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'd like
Inline
to keep a
hockey,
little variety. Yeah, true. I forgot about that one. Played a little inline hockey for a few years too. So
traveled to the States, and you guys won. What was that?
yeah,
Team Alberta? You played for Team Alberta?
yeah. Team Alberta for a few years. Me and your brother
Yep.
Jesse.
Yep.
We some great experiences with that. Going down to the States playing roller hockey. So that was another really fun thing we used to do in the summer too.
Awesome. Well, I should have given some context to that too. So we grew up in the same town. He was best friends with my older brother, Jesse. They played hockey together, and we're all homeschooled. I had to put that on here. We're all homeschooled, so we could play lots of sports and shoot. Shoot. Yeah. So you played a lot of different sports growing up. You didn't just stick to one sport. You played outside, hockey rink, out in the farm. When you started, we started training together actually, in the gym, fitness wise. How old were you when you started training?
I started by myself in our basement. I think when I don't know, I was pretty young before I started going with you guys to the gym, but it was probably 13 maybe. I always think it stunted my growth. That's my reason
That's
for.
why I'm 6'6" and you're not
Yeah,
6'6".
yeah, you got a late start. That's why I didn't catch you. But uh, no, I started in my basement. I was reading Arnold Schwarzenegger's old book. It was in our library that we had at home, and kind of random, but I really liked his. Got me into training, so that's kind of where I started, and then it moved into the gym and Camrose with you guys from there.
Yep. You cut out for a bit, but I'm assuming you just said that you read Arnold's book, got super strong, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And no, that's definitely not what happened, but
No.
I imagined it anyway.
Yeah, we definitely didn't know much about what we were doing. I guess when we first started, we all kind of worked out together, had a group. We were very consistent in what we did, even if it wasn't the most ideal training regimen, but it was fun. And in saying that, what would be the funniest gym story you can remember?
Yeah, there's probably quite a few of those. Like you said, our form probably wasn't up to par
Right.
back then. We were just
Right.
kind of figuring things out as we went. And so that made for some funny things. I know you guys probably laughed at my expense more than I did at yours, but I do remember one time we had one of our other friends was there with us that didn't come too often, and we were trying to show him the hang clean,
Yeah.
and we didn't have a lot of weight on the bar. And actually, was this you, Matt? I think this was you.
This is me.
I was
We
gonna.
had a friend here that,
Yeah,
it's you.
No, it's coming back to me. I think it was you.
Yeah.
Things have changed a bit since then, but at one point,
Hopefully.
you seemed to have some kind of a mental block
Yep.
where the bar just wouldn't come up to where you wanted it to go, and yeah, we had a pretty good laugh about that. But
Yeah, we started at 185 pounds and went down to the 45-pound bar, and I still could not get it to my shoulders. Like, I've heard that happens with golfers sometimes, so I'm just gonna say I was a professional and
yeah,
just lost it
we
for a
call
second.
that the yips
The
in
yips.
golf. So
I
we
got the
think you got
yips.
the yips one day. So yeah, that was pretty funny.
Well, I'll tell my little story here. We're upstairs, and I was working on my calves. And upstairs in this old gym, there is a bunch of cardio equipment. Lots of people were on the cardio equipment. I put up a box to elevate myself 12 inches in the air because apparently my feet are 12 inches long. I don't know. So I did that. And as I went, I didn't counterbalance the other side. I had dumbbells in my hands. I fell straight forward, dumbbells in the air, hits the ground. I was fine, but I proceeded to walk out and go home because everyone looked back at me. And I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, future CrossFit
Future
Camrose.
CrossFit. So I know right now you're probably not training as hard as you would in the summer, but when you come back in the summer, how do you maintain your fitness? How do you make sure that you're ready to go for the season?
Yeah, summer routines have, for the most part, been pretty similar over the years. I like to mix it up a little more now than I used to. So I usually, depending on how late our season goes, I usually try to take a month off, maybe 3 weeks to a month of just not doing anything in the gym, not thinking about hockey or working out, and just get away from it for a while. So I find that's a good refresher. And then, just slowly start get back into it with a lot of stretching and kind of body weight stuff and general physical preparation. And then just move into a few different phases as the summer goes along. And yeah, mix it up a lot. Do a lot with you. Just working on those different muscle groups, and we call them phases in hockey. I guess the hockey training is a little more specific, but for the most part, it's pretty compatible with CrossFit as well. Just having a lot of variety and just being prepared for anything.
Well, yeah. How many games would you play in a season?
Right now, our season's 52 games, I think, regular season. Then we played about 13 Champions League games, and then it just depends on how many we play in playoffs. So it could be up to 90 at the most,
90,
I would say.
So I think you deserve a little phase into working out and a little break for a while. Let your body adapt back into it.
Yeah, and depending on the injuries throughout the year as well, your body might be a little banged up and sore too. So it's kind of nice just to let those things heal and recover as well.
Yeah. So you just touched on that you won the Champions League. Can you explain that to us a bit? Because I guess I was a bit confused how you're still playing, but you won the league.
Yeah, I didn't even know what was going on this year and didn't really know about it too much. Never playing in the Swedish league before, but yeah, we just played just random games throughout the season. We would play against other teams from other countries throughout Europe, and ended up just working our way through that. And yeah, we got into some playoff games and then made our way to the final. That was in the Czech Republic against a Czech team last month or January. And yeah, so it was just a 1-game final, and we were able to win that game 3-1. So we won
Awesome.
the Champions League, which is just the champion of Europe, I guess, basically. And then, but now our Swedish season continues on, and now we're trying to win the Swedish league.
Cool. When's that all start?
We have 5 games left right now, so yeah, within 2 to 3 weeks we'll be playoffs here, and then yeah, we'll start that up.
Cool. You also got to, not to take all the time with all your winnings, but it's good for everyone to hear what you've done. In 2018, you won bronze in South Korea in the Olympics. How was that?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was unexpected, I guess. I never would have thought that I'd be able to play in the Olympics. That's seems so far off. I guess there's so many amazing hockey players, and then the timing of it, where I left North America to go play in the KHL, happened to be the year when the NHL players didn't go. So even after that, I knew it would be tough to make the team because there's so many good Canadian players that are playing in Europe or the American League. So yeah, it was just a honor and a privilege to be selected for that team, and definitely up there with the best experience of my life. Just being a part of something like that is on the world stage is pretty incredible, and to come back with a medal is even more amazing. So it was yeah, definitely probably the highlight of my career.
Awesome. Switching gears a little bit here. So oftentimes we get caught up, we can see a lot of young athletes getting caught up in just training for hockey, just playing hockey all summer, playing all hockey all winter, and oftentimes getting burnt out in the pursuit of trying to make it to the top level of hockey or sports in general. It's not just hockey. What would be, going through it all, and we'll touch on your journey on how you got to where you are, what would be some wisdom you give to young athletes trying to get to the next level?
Yeah, I touched a little bit on that before, but yeah, I think the game's changed a little bit. Seems like hockey is becoming more and more an all-season sport nowadays. But so I don't really know the stats or anything on how kids are doing with that. But I know for me, I loved playing hockey, but I think it was also good to have a break from it in the summer and do some other sports. And I think it's just good for your overall athleticism just to have those other skills. I think it makes you a better hockey player as well, just being more well-rounded, and also just a mental break too. I think a lot of people get burnt out when you're doing something constantly, and so I always felt really excited to get the new season going again. And after having that break in the summer was I think a big thing for me. I'm not getting burnt out and always being excited to play.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think people just assume that when you're playing the level of hockey you have, that you played a high level your whole life, which I know is not the case, but can you kind of walk us through the journey of that?
Yeah, thanks for keeping me humble, Matt.
Yeah. So Karl, you always haven't been amazing, right? So tell me when you weren't amazing.
Yeah, that's part of that growth thing too. I was always a small guy growing up. Late birthday, it seemed like I was always undersized, so I think that played into it a little bit too. Where I was getting cut from teams when I was younger and kind of faced adversity with that. But I think it also was a good thing because I was able to be a better player in the maybe lower leagues growing up. So I think I got confidence from that and got to play lots, and that ended up being a blessing in disguise. I think at the time it's not fun when you get cut from teams when you're younger, but I think it gave me some drive too, just to prove people wrong, and just kept believing that if I did my best and work hard, that could keep moving up. And yeah, fortunately, was able to over the years. Kind of just kept improving, and um, yeah, pretty cool to see the things that have happened.
Yep. Yep. So you, like you said, you train at our gym during the summers, and we have another aspect of our gym called greater purpose strength and conditioning. And our slogan is making great athletes, but even greater people. And you kind of touched on the mindset of it and going through adversity and stuff like that. And I think a lot of times young athletes, or not even young athletes, but athletes in general, can get so tied to their identity being a hockey player. Whereas if they lose that, then who are they? And I think that can be a hard transition. You probably are closer to this than I am, so you can kind of talk on it a bit more. But even outside of sports or hockey, people start to tie their identity to what they do and not who they are. That's kind of like the first question I asked you at the start. So in our gym, like I said, we try to help people grow as people, or athletes grow as people and not just athletes. Can you talk about the importance of that in your opinion?
Yeah, I really like that. Just looking at the whole person and caring about them, not just seeing them as a pawn in the business, I guess, side of hockey, which is definitely there in pro sports. But yeah, it's a huge part of it. I think just it's easy to get caught up in what people are saying because it's all performance based. There's always people judging coaches or fans or media or ourselves if if it's going good or if it's going bad. I think there's you can get caught up on it with your ego maybe if things are going really well and thinking you have it made, or when things aren't going well you can get pretty down on yourself too. So yeah, just having that solid foundation, I think, and taking care of yourself as a person and not worrying about maybe what other people think of you or say about you is a key part in being able to succeed, I think, in the sports. And I mean, I haven't. This is all I've done my whole life, so I'm not. It's going to be different when I'm done playing. And I know a lot of guys struggle, I think, when their career's over, wondering what's going to happen next, and you don't have that some of the spotlight that you used to, or whatever it may be. But yeah, there's a lot of good programs happening right now, I think, in the NHL, especially the NHLPA is concerned more about that now and helping guys transition out of that. So it's good to see that there's some awareness with that too.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And even just outside of sports in general, I think people get tied to their jobs or what they do, and can lead to depression and anxiety and all this other stuff that isn't good. So we were chatting before the show a bit about other aspects outside of hockey. You're heading to an event tonight after this show. Can you talk about what that is? Because I mean, on this podcast, we talk more than just fitness, and it's the 6 F's, right? So we want to make sure that we kind of ask you questions about more than just fitness or hockey or sports.
Yeah, I thought it was cool timing that doing this with you. But then tonight there's an event at the church here in Gothenburg that I'm going to. It's a Hillsong church, and they have a guy from Australia coming to speak tonight. And I don't know too much about it, but I know kind of the main points are about matching your calling and your career. I think a lot of people have, like you're saying, are tied up in their what they're doing as a career instead of seeing it as a calling and the higher purpose to it. There's yeah, that's where one of the F's comes into play. Anyway, this is the faith aspect, and so I'm looking forward to going to listen to that tonight and hopefully learn a bit more about it, because I know we're all we all struggle with that at times, and it's a balancing act of being able to see what's really important in life. So yeah, that's a very important part of my career as well, is just making sure I'm checking in and remembering what's truly important.
Yeah, because you're part of some. I'm blanking on the name, but some groups, let's say hockey schools and stuff like that, that are based around the church as well, right?
Yeah, FCA is the one I've kind of been involved with more, a fellowship of Christian athletes, and there's a good hockey Zoom call that we do every couple of weeks. Guys who are playing pro hockey in Europe, we just hop on and go through a book together. Just go through a chapter every couple of weeks and just talk about hockey and life and faith. And yeah, it's kind of nice because we all can relate to each other. We're all doing the same thing as a career, and we can encourage each other and yeah, just support each other through our season. So that's a pretty cool bond that we're able to have, even though we play in different countries. We can all connect on that level. So that's been pretty cool to be a part of.
Yeah, I think it's really important that people have that community or someone they can connect with. And because I played hockey a lot of my life too, there's nothing like that for, not nothing, but it's hard to find, especially when kids are leaving home at 15, 16, going to a group of people that really haven't had the exposure of living on their own. So that's a hard thing. I think it's important that there continues to be groups like that being made, and older athletes like you mentoring those younger people. So I don't know if that's something that you've ever explored or thought of, mentoring younger athletes.
Yeah, definitely. There's, I mean, HMI is another good hockey ministry too that runs hockey camps with the Christian side to it too. So that's another good thing that organizations are doing that are fun to be a part of. Just mentoring that next generation, and I think it's really encouraging for them to see other older professional athletes still following God, and even in a pretty secular place. It's I know for me growing up, I went to HMI camps, and that was really cool to see NHL players that would come and talk, and yeah, it was encouraging for us, and yeah, it really helped me growing up too.
Yeah, I mean, the junior hockey scene or hockey scene in general can be impactful in many ways, good and bad. So I think it's important that more young athletes see that's okay to find a group to be a part of, because you touched on going to this church event about finding purpose. And I think a lot of times that we don't live into our purpose. This is my kind of thing, but we don't live into our purpose out of fear, right? We're afraid of what people might think or what people might say or what might happen or how we might fail. But I think we've all have this purpose in life, and we need to pursue that. So this is not on the questions, but what do you feel like if you said, this is kind of what I want to do, or this is my purpose, this is my cause, do you have any idea what that would be?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're always figuring that out. It's not like we ever have it completely made, I don't think. But yeah, I see hockey as something I do. It's not who I am, but I think it also provides a really cool platform like you said, to mentor younger people. There's a lot of people watching us and looking up to us that maybe you don't have in certain other careers, where you have an opportunity to really be a role model and set an example. So I think it's a unique situation that I've been given. So I think it's important for me to use it and not just let it go either. I think, um, I mean, I'm not perfect with it either, but if I can help any younger players or fans of the game as someone to look up to, I think it's part of the purpose that I have being a hockey player. It's not just winning or losing games, but there's way more that goes into it. So
Yep.
it's yeah, cool to have that platform.
Yeah, when we were chatting with Jaleesa on the other podcast as well, she touched on being able to help people with what she went through. And I think that's what we're seeing over and over, is that you can only really feel fulfilled if you're helping people with what you're doing. If you're just doing it for yourself, you can start to feel kind of empty. But maybe that's just my opinion.
Oh, I agree for sure. It's definitely, sometimes I know if we have events or something at the time, it seems like a chore maybe too,
Right.
just having to do certain things in the community or whatever. But I know after, you always feel fulfilled, like you say. It's rewarding just to see smiles on people's faces. You're really brightening their day. Or if we go visit a hospital and see some sick kids, that are just kind of makes their day. So it's yeah, really fulfilling feeling.
Yeah, I think the part of the reason it's hard to do that stuff is that you don't always see the impact right away, right? You can see the impact of winning a game instantly, but doing something for someone, you might not even know that you helped them. So that's a harder thing to do, but I think that's really fruitful in its own.
Yeah.
Let's go to the closing questions here, because I think you're going to have some good ones, unless you have anything else you want to touch on before we...
No, I think we're covering it pretty well here.
Awesome.
You can shoot.
All right. So name one thing. I should say this first, but you're a traveler. You love traveling. So I'm guessing this is going to be kind of a travel based one. I shouldn't say that. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Name one thing on your bucket list.
Yeah, I definitely love traveling. I thought about that question quick today, and there's definitely some places I want to go, but nothing really jumped out to me as one specific place. So I thought I'd throw you off and say one day I'd like to have a family and get married, have some kids.
Have some kids.
So that's something I'm looking to do one day.
One day. Are you... I should ask it. You're single, Karl?
Yeah, where I'm going to be on the new season of The Bachelor, hopefully.
There you go. Well, let's see if we can get as many people to share this as possible and get you on The Bachelor. So you hear that, ladies? Karl's single, whether he's in Europe or he's coming back home. So there you go. He said it first. I wasn't going to say it, but he brought it up.
Well, I gotta throw it out there, get the word out, you know?
Yeah. Like I was saying before, the goal is to help people. If you could give one piece of wisdom or advice that you think could help someone, what would that be?
Yeah, I think we've kind of already been talking about it, but it's just that foundation, like asking the big questions in life. I think it's so easy just to be distracted in this modern age with social media and all kinds of things, that we can just go through a day without even thinking about anything important. And yeah, for me, I think it's all goes back to the purpose, like we've been talking about, and what really matters in life. So yeah, whatever it is, I think I know not everyone believes the same things or thinks the same things, but I think just asking those questions and just searching for the truth, I think is a big part of life, and then everything else makes a little more sense, I think, once you've found that part of your life.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's something too, is that it's easy to not focus on the important aspects like the 6 F's, right? And then, but most of the time you don't see the side effects of those things until it's years down the road, right? You can see the side effect of not paying a bill right away, but you can't really see the side effect of, hey, maybe not spending some time devotion or working out for maybe a couple of years, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, bam, there it is.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. It's little things that add up. It's
Yeah.
not something that happens overnight, for sure.
Right. What is the most impactful thing someone has said to you or done to you, for you?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I couldn't think of one exact moment.
And you can think of a few. Jaleesa, that kind of stumped Jaleesa on this one too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many over the years that I'm sure I overlooked too. But to me, I just thought of just my family. I think just the love and support I think that I got from them and still get from them my whole life. I think that's been the most impactful for me. Just always supporting me and loving me no matter when I fail or screw up or things are going good, things are going bad. I think that's just the best thing that parents can do for their children. And so I think, yeah, that's kind of what popped into my head for that one. Just
Yep.
love and support from family.
That's awesome. Those are questions, but just to kind of recap. So we kind of get the sense now that it's important that, from what you've been saying, it's important that people have more than what they just do. And I mean, maybe I was kind of guiding you towards talking about that a bit, but I think there's an idea that once you've made it to the level you're at, or high level of a job or finances, whatever else, you've kind of made it. But that's not really the case when life keeps moving on. I don't think anyone's actually won life yet. So
Yeah. No.
it's a hard thing, because once you've attained this goal, life continues going on. But once you have, like you're saying, you have a purpose in mind, you're always continually going for that purpose, and you probably will never reach it because it's not something you can hold and say, like, I've reached it. And I think that's important that people start to, like you're going to this thing tonight in the church, that people start to realize, like, you got to find what drives you, what your passion is, what you can put your creativity into.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's another thing I was going to touch on. I think it was The Purpose Driven Life I read a few years ago. It's a good book by Rick Warren. And yeah, it talked about just how we can either live in the future or live in the past. I think I get caught up in that a lot too, just thinking if I get this, then everything will be good,
Right.
or once I get to that or win this or whatever it may be. And then it just takes everything away from the current moment you're living in. And you miss so much of what's actually going on in front of you. And yeah, works with the past too. You're always reminiscing about how good those times were, which isn't a bad thing, but you can also get caught there too and just kind of lose hope in the future or miss the present as well. So that's it's that word balance again, I think, applies to so many things in our life.
Yeah, and especially in the elite athlete sense, once they're done hockey, you can oftentimes look at the past and they get caught up in that, and then they start to things around them start to give way because they're not in the present. I think that's really well said.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Karl, where can we follow you? Where can people find your number to go on a date with you now, I guess?
Well, my number changes every few months because I'm always moving around, so that might be tough. But yeah, not much of a follow. Might be boring, but I post stuff on Instagram once in a while. Maybe if I'm traveling around, I'll throw something on there. It's Stollery.
Oh, this is like the one time you cut out, and it cut out when you were saying your handle. Go ahead.
Maybe it's not meant to be.
I'll put it in the show notes too. Stollery.
Yeah, Stollery K.
Stollery K. Oh, easy peasy.
Mm-hmm.
You do post some good stuff. You post a lot in your stories. It seems it's like artsy stuff, which I enjoy, and you get to experience the world from your eyes. There's a lot of cafes and a lot of saunas. You love to sauna.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of that content on there.
Yeah.
I appreciate the compliment, artsy. I never thought someone would call me artsy.
There you go. I'm just pumping your tires here, Karl.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're setting the bar a little high. People are going to be.
Well, no, I did bring you down before. Remember, I said where you started in hockey. Okay. So just keep the balance. Yeah. It's the balance, like you said.
Evens out.
Even Stevens. Okay, so when we follow you, you'll be back in cameras this year to train, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we'll see. I usually plan my life one day at a time. So
living in the present.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, maybe a little too much, but yeah, I'll be back. It'll be good to see everyone again. I miss it there. So yeah, I'll be back to hang out.
Cool. Well, thanks, Karl.
Thank you.
We'll chat again soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you for joining us today in our episode featuring Karl Stollery. If you found this beneficial for yourself and you think someone close to you, not close to you, could benefit from it, please send it to them. We want to help as many people as we can through these stories and bring on experts. If you're a young athlete or older athlete, please check out the show notes where we link our website to Greater Purpose Strength and Conditioning. Our goal with that program is to create great athletes, but even greater people. We don't want to lose sight of the person in pursuit of the athlete. Thanks for joining. See you next time.